we go. Here we go. Here we go. And ladies and gentlemen, don't touch that dial. You have found the brothers that are the host with the most, those strange individuals that are known as the Brothers in Arms, here on the Brothers in Arms podcast, twitch.tv/Brothers in Arms podcast. It is the 20th of August in the year of our Lord 2023, episode number 125. Yes, we are 1.25 century old in episode numbers. Holy cow, we're old. We've already established that fact, though. Gentlemen, good evening. If you did not know, my name is Greg. The guy up in the upper right-hand corner is Patrick, and then the other guy up there with the hat on with the tequila is Alex. And we are here, and we are live, and we're here to chat with you.
Who has tequila?
You're wearing
Tequila.
it.
I have a Bush Latte.
And he has a Bush Latte. We love our Bush Latte. Well, at least
Yeah.
Alex and I do.
See,
Never had one. Thank you very much.
It's all right.
But I'm trying to figure this out. So I'm writing Bush Latte. So we'll see how that goes.
yes.
Sweet. Hi,
It's not well. It's fancy. It's a fancy beer because
ladies and every time he drinks, it's pinkies up. You know,
Yeah.
it's so just watch and it is cozy, coozie.
Koozie.
Koozie.
Oh yeah, gotta have your koozie.
What about a cozy?
Oh man, koozie.
I knew a lady that knit those once.
A cozy koozie?
Yeah, they were crochet.
I have.
They were a crocheted cozy.
Yes,
Cozy.
cozy koozie. Crochet. And we're back with the tongue twisters.
Yay!
Not handle this. If for anyone that's listening, if anyone's joined the chat yet, or when you go back and you listen to this episode, y'all, before we started this, because we usually get on and we'll talk for a few minutes before we actually hit the button and start chatting.
Well,
I'm the last one to join this evening.
Yep.
With my daughter, saying goodnight to my daughter.
wait, hold on. Just this evening?
Okay, on a regular basis, usually for one reason or another. I'm usually the last one on, but I was this evening. I was talking to my daughter because she had finally called me back, and I wanted to check in on her because she is in San Diego. Praying for the folks over there on the West Coast because they are getting pummeled right now by a hurricane.
Oh no way! Aren't they called typhoons over there?
No, it's still a hurricane. Hurricane.
Really?
Yeah.
Depends on where it comes from.
Yeah, depends on where it comes from. And these came from south.
Yep.
From
South.
It came from the south.
Yeehaw!
Yeah.
A typhoon would come from across the west. It came west.
Yeah.
But no,
West, young man.
so just I was checking in on her, but I jump on and you two are talking about sentences that are completely incoherent.
Yeah.
If you are not a native English speaker, or someone who is even people who are native English speakers, they make no sense.
Yeah.
And if you Google, and I'll just throw this one out there. Let me find my mouse here real quick because I don't remember what I typed in. Just type in something like English sentences that make sense. That's all you need to do, and just click on like one of the first search answers you get. The first page. There's one on Grammarly.com. You can go look up that, and y'all, my brain shut down.
It was fun to watch.
We saw.
My brain was gone trying to understand what exactly I was looking at and putting two and two together, and they thought it was hilarious.
It was. And it was also disconcerting because he just had this faraway look of we couldn't help him.
I was there. Sort
Oh
of,
man.
but not really.
It had a little bit of a downward turn to it, too. He was like,
Yeah.
Did not understand what I was looking at. God bless the English language, and
Yep.
that's
And
all
we
there is
speak
to
it with both
Yeah.
good and bad.
It's so terrible.
Oh, it's great.
But good evening, gentlemen. How are you?
Good evening. Oh, glad to be back with you guys, man. It's It's been a wonderful week. It's been not so wonderful. It's been busy. It's been all the in between. So, what order do we want to go through tonight, huh? What sounds good?
I don't know. I don't think I've gone first in a while.
No, and you had a really
Do
good
it.
week.
Do it.
I had an interesting week, gentlemen.
Okay.
So, since the last time we talked, I got off, I went to bed, and then I had duty.
Mm.
And as you guys know, duty is always fantastic. But this one was actually pretty good. I stood a total of 6 hours of watch that day, and then I got the opportunity to jump in and play some Magic. Um,
There it is.
yeah.
Buckle up, Buttercup. Here we go.
Oh, it was fun. It was a lot of fun for me. But the guys that I was playing with, they're guys that I've worked with for years now, and they all have each their own really distinct personalities, and you see that when they sit down to play a game, and it doesn't matter like whose cards you're playing with or what have you. It's amazing to see because I brought more than enough for everybody else, so I just started passing my stuff around and letting
Wow.
them, try whatever. So, I told you guys a little while ago, Commander Masters came out, and they came out with 4 new precons. And these things are, if you're looking at a power level scale, they're not like precon level. They're probably like a 6 out of 10, which is pretty unheard of to be able to buy over the counter. So we're passing these around between everybody, and everyone's getting an opportunity to play whatever they'd like to play. And it was a blast, absolutely a blast. And then Tuesday morning, I went on leave.
Yes.
I have not been at work in almost a week, and it's been absolutely fantastic.
We can tell by the beard.
Yeah,
Well done, sir.
thank you. I mean, it's 6 days, whatever.
It's important to give your face a rest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you end up, basically just dry shaving the crap out of your face, and it's just terrible. But we had a good week. I got to spend time at home with the kids and with Liz. I got a whole lot of stuff done that I needed to get done. I've been driving all over the place trying to figure out, get all the registration done for the car, do all of the different taxes that they charge you with, property taxes. Had to pay off a very interesting toll situation. So one of the big differences in between when I was here the last time and now is right as we were leaving and we were going down to South Carolina, a couple of the major tunnels in the area decided to start charging. They started to go toll, and the tolls were $1. I remember that very specifically. If you had an easy pass or whatever, it was $1. It was $1 to go through the toll. Now, if you don't have an easy pass and you go through one of these tunnels, it costs you roughly about $6.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So it really, really changed the way that traffic happens in this city. It's ridiculous. And it's at a point where you have to have that easy pass, because if you have the easy pass, it's just over $2.
Okay.
So you have to pay into the easy pass, then you have to keep the easy pass charged, or have your card attached to it so it can just re-up for you.
Right.
But back then, they put it in, and it's run by somebody other than the city.
Uh-oh.
So they're basically the whole premise behind it. Whenever they were putting it in, is they said we're gonna charge $1, right? And this is just to keep the cost down of putting in another tunnel. So there's one tunnel in the area that literally it goes from 4 lanes of traffic down to 2 lanes into the tunnel and comes back out into 4 lanes of traffic.
Okay.
So you have, 2 going in, condenses down to 1, so it's one way, 1 the other way. So what they were
Right.
going to do is they were going to put another tunnel in down so that it has 2 going one way, 2 going the other way. Yeah. The issue with that is by the end of the first year, that tunnel was paid off. And we all thought the tolls were going to go away at that point.
Right. As they should.
As they should. And they are now $6.
Yikes.
On top of that, there's an HOV lane that is specifically for military, right? And
That's nice.
I say specifically for military literally because it changes directions based on the time of the day as to whether or not people are going into the base or coming off the base.
Yep.
It literally spits you out right onto the highway just before the exit for base.
Right.
Right? It's military. That is now also told.
So, quick question. Do you know who owns the toll booths?
I do.
Is it New Jersey?
It is not.
Oh,
Unless New...
because they own the toll booths in West Virginia,
Which is crazy. That makes no sense to me.
New Jersey.
Yeah.
All right, so who
I
owns
don't
it?
know. Elizabeth River Company. So I don't know if there's an Elizabeth River in New Jersey. Maybe. I don't know. But they're the ones that own it. And they're the ones that are supposedly building this stuff. Now, mind you, yeah,
Elizabeth who?
River. Smart Home just informed me that the Elizabeth River is here. So I don't know. But it was about 6 or 7 years ago that they instituted these tunnels, or instituted the tolls for the tunnels, and they are just now making headway into putting another lane on a completely different tunnel.
Oh, Elizabeth River is the river that it's under.
Yep.
Got it. Okay.
So they're making headway into putting in another lane on the Hampton Roads Bridge Tunnel, which is not tolled. I have no idea why. So they have 2 tunnels here, technically, that are not tolled, and that's it. And that's just to get to and from the peninsula.
That's insane.
Yep. So everything else it'll cost you. There's one, if you go across it, even with an easy pass, it costs you $13.
Oh my goodness.
It's insane.
$13. Well, that's the one that'll take you the closest to the Outer Banks. So they're catching everybody that's trying to go on vacation or coming back from vacation or what have you. So if you're going down that way, it's a much quicker way than going all the way down through the speed traps in Emporia and then over. It's terrible. So I dealt with that this week. And then, we've been working around the house quite a bit. I got the backyard mowed today.
Yay, good job.
I got the boat cleaned up and washed up, and we're going to get the cover on it once everything kind of like dries out. And we're still looking. We're working on trying to find a replacement car for me. And then once all that goes down, we're going to get the rest of the boat registration stuff taken care of and start getting out and getting back on the water while we got a little bit of time before the cold starts to set in.
Before winter hits. Winter's coming.
I mean, that I'm not too worried about. It gets kind of cold here, but there's striper out this way. There's all sorts of stuff that you can still get out there and go fish for.
Oh, yeah.
And then today, while we were doing the yard, I threw a pork butt on. It's one of the things, Greg, you missed, unfortunately. Taking care of my butt took too long. So I was the second person on today, not the first.
And that's what he came on with. He said, "Sorry, man, my butt took longer than I expected."
When you're trying to
What?
cook your butt,
No,
just
it
No,
wasn't cooking. He said nothing about cooking. He just said my butt took longer than I expected.
it's not wrong.
one wrong.
No, he's not wrong. Oh man.
14 and a half hours, low and slow, man. It was glorious. But took too long.
That's right.
So, but we got that thing off at about 7:30, somewhere around there, and let it set for about an hour. And Liz and I got an opportunity to eat it before I came up here.
Sweet.
Yeah, it's been good. It's been a a really good week so far. So we got one last thing to do. We got to go talk to the city commissioner tomorrow, and after that, I go back to work.
Why do you need to talk to the city commissioner?
I'm glad you asked.
Okie dokie.
So, in my adventures this week, one of the things that I was trying to do was take care of my property tax, right?
Okay.
So, everyone knows you have to pay property tax on like either your house or you have to pay, state sales tax as like a yearly thing on your car or something along those lines. Well, for the military, almost every state that I've been in so far, they cannot charge you property tax for something unless it is like, say, a house, right? I own this house in my state, so my property taxes get in with my escrow account and they get paid off with my insurance as well.
Okay.
But for cars, technically, even if you bought it in this state, this is not the state where you pay taxes in. You pay taxes in your home of record
Okay.
because you're in the military, right? So for me, I'm still technically in West Virginia.
Really?
Yeah, that's where I came into the military out of. So because of that, oh yeah, I went with mom and dad up to Charleston, and
I
then
know
yeah.
the story, yeah, but do
But
you hold anything from West Virginia? Like, does your license still from West Virginia? What do
it
you...
was for the longest time, but it's very difficult to buy alcohol with a under 21 license from West Virginia that looks nothing like you.
That is a very valid point, sir.
Yeah.
Noted. Okay.
So even though the birthday says it says not, or it says under 21 on it, and it's up and down instead of
Yeah.
side to side.
Right.
So
Right.
kind of fun. So, but because of that, that's where I pay my state taxes, and because I pay my state taxes there, technically, I can't pay those taxes here, so I can't pay, personal property tax for a car when Virginia is not my home of record. Even though the car is registered in Virginia, the insurance says I live in Virginia, I own a home in Virginia, I don't pay property tax because I'm military on my car. So I went into one of the two offices that was listed on the back and said, hey, yeah, come here and do this and take care of your personal property tax. So I did what every military guy does. I printed off a copy of my latest leave and earning statement, which states that, my home of record is West Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
And I took that in with the bill, walked in, went down in there, talked to the lady, handed her both slips of paper, and she goes, oh, no, I don't need this, and hands me back my LES. I said, oh, okay, cool. Maybe she just saw it, saw the West Virginia, whatever. She didn't want to hang on to, that type of personal information. It's fine. Nope. She then says, all right, that'll be 23 something. And it was over $2,000.
Whoa.
And I was like, wait a minute, whoa. She goes, what? I was like, I'm military. I'm stationed here. This isn't my home of record. I'm not supposed to pay property tax for this.
Right.
And she was like, oh, well, you need to go down to the commissioner's office. I was like, now, hold on a second. You were going to let me pay for this. You work in a military town. You know that if they're not from here, they don't pay this stuff.
I love
I
the
need somebody to
face.
screen grab that, please.
Yeah.
Please, somebody screen grab that.
Mm-hmm.
That was brilliant.
That was perfect. I love it. Okay.
That makes no sense.
Right.
So I said, all right, thanks, and just left. And drove down to what the city commissioner's office is, which just so happens to be the other address that's on the back of this personal property form.
Ah.
So I said, okay, cool. So my GPS tells me to go ahead, go up, and then, do like a little U-turn thing and go into the parking lot. And I get up to the road and it says, road closed.
Oh.
I said, oh, well, that's where the parking lot is. There's nowhere else to park, so I'll just go around and see if I can walk in that way. The only parking that's available is at the police precinct that's down there. Do you know that they have parking meters still? And they're all right in front of the police precinct.
Uh-huh.
They don't take cards.
Nope.
So I start looking through the minivan and I find absolutely no change.
Aw.
So I call Liz. I said, hey, anywhere in your car that there's a whole bunch of change, I got to feed a meter. And she says, well, yeah, there's some coins in the driver's side door. I said, okay, cool. I started looking. Gentlemen, they were plastic.
No. That's not legal tender.
Nope.
That's
And
plate money.
I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, they also do not fit in the meter.
You tried?
Oh, yeah.
Of course you did.
Well, you had to put it in perspective.
Oh.
Now,
Yeah.
in Virginia's defense, and I'll let Alex finish, but I will say this: so not every county is like that, PT. So I'm in the same boat. I still a Georgia resident. I pay income taxes to Georgia, just because, and you can change it if you want. So like if you establish residency in a new state and you want to
Mhm.
switch it, you can. And like it's not always a bad thing to do that, but I had the same issue. Like you just like, oh yeah, no, like you need to pay property taxes on your vehicle because my vehicle's registered here in Virginia. I have a Virginia license. I have a
Virginia
Virginia
plate,
registered vehicle.
right?
Virginia plates, the whole nine.
Please thank
And
me for my service.
please thank me for my service. If anyone ever sees me, you can't miss it. But anyways, I had to do the same thing because it's like, hey, you owe, and now mind you, I have much older vehicles, so like I think I owed like I don't know $300 total. Um, but
Every
even still,
year?
huh?
Every year?
Yeah, yeah. So there's one of those fun things about Virginia. They'll nail you. Like I don't want to have a car registered here
It's a
when I retire
commonwealth.
because they
It's
Mm,
not a state.
their taxes. Like when you go to register your vehicle and you get your plates like a 3 years of registration for my car is like $100. Like that's awesome. But what they don't tell you is twice a year you get a letter in the mail and you have to pay property taxes on that vehicle twice a year, and it's based on the value of your car.
Yep.
But again, if you're military and you're not a resident, you're exempt.
You're good.
So I went to the local courthouse here to do the same thing. And again, this is 6 months, 7 months ago, I don't remember. But I went in, talked to this like same issue, like talked to the first one, and they're like, hey, um, that's not a problem. We can take care of it. You just need to go to the commissioner's office to get it taken care of. And the commissioner's office is down the hallway on the other side of the just walk over. Like they're literally right there. And so so I walked to the other side, talked to them, said, "Hey, how's it going?" Like explained. here's all of my paperwork. Um, I think I had to pull up like a tax return on one of them just because I didn't go far enough back.
Mm.
But literally just showed them that I don't pay, income taxes to the state, and they're like, sounds good. Like, no issues there. Um, here you go, and walked out with a $0 bill. I didn't pay anything. So again, it's not across the entire state. It's just unfortunately what's going on.
Commonwealth.
Yep.
Yeah, common across the Commonwealth.
Yes.
Smart aleck.
No, it's me.
So, but it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Sorry.
No, so I'm gonna walk out of there not with a $0 balance though. They're gonna charge me $1 for processing.
Well, that's
Oh,
dumb.
wow.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure you
Yeah.
bring in your play money.
No, I'm gonna give it to them in pennies.
Perfect. 2 rolls.
2 rolls.
Open it up. Make them count it out.
Yep.
There's 2 rolls of pennies.
Perfect.
Uh,
Funny.
yeah. The only other thing this weekend is we had James come in. So got an opportunity. It's the first time I've gotten to see him in about 4 years, give or take.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it was really good. He came in. We took him out to dinner on Friday, and then we got up and made breakfast, and he got on the road. He's actually up there. I think he's on his way home. But he was up there where you're at, Greg. He had his grandparents had their 60th wedding anniversary.
Awesome.
So he went up there, and all the family came up to surprise him and celebrate. So it was good.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, man.
G, what about you?
It's been it's been a good week. Work's been busy.
Mm.
I did get to break out. I sent you guys pictures in Discord. I got to Alex be proud of me. I broke out the smoker.
Nice.
That's a lot of meat,
Uh,
man.
yeah, I did some steaks. It lasted me. We had dinner that night, and then I had lunches for like 3 days.
Good. Yeah, because that's a
Um,
lot of meat.
but all the meats.
All the meats. You are
But I
Arby's.
but I did. I went ahead and did some steaks in the smoker, and then finished them on the grill. And I was quite proud of how they turned out. A little
Nice.
overdone, unfortunately. I
Mm.
think it's just because they were so thin, and I should have pulled them out of the smoker a little bit earlier and not hit them on the cast iron as long as I did them like less than 2 minutes aside, and it should have been probably closer to 1 minute. So
Mm.
lesson learned there. But they tasted great, and honestly, that was what mattered between the smoke and then boyo. You'd be proud. All I used was salt, pepper, and garlic.
Nice. A little bit of SPG.
SPG baby. So that worked out really well. And then, yeah, again, the work week was busy. It's just we had a lot of moving parts, and Friday was even busier, like moving around a bunch of important people and whatnot, and
Mm.
that was fun. But then Saturday,
That was fun.
it was interesting. I'll tell you about it later.
As he rolls his
Uh,
eyes.
Saturday, we were. Brandy got us tickets. So the bur- is this the new? Is this it?
No, just
We
one.
gotta. That's the knife. It's the knife hand.
It's the knife hand.
That,
Yay.
that'll kill a man at 25 yards, depending on how you look at him.
Mm.
But no. So we ended up going to. There was a bourbon and beer festival here in Fredericksburg, and Brandy got us tickets, and
Aw.
Sasha and Sean joined us, and so the four of us went to taste a bunch of different bourbons. Well, Sean and I tasted a bunch of different bourbons. The girls had wine, and Sasha had a margarita because she likes tequila.
At a beer and bourbon
Yeah,
festival, she
so
found a
so
margarita.
yeah, no. So you got to understand. So like the focus is
You have to
bourbon. So
understand.
Okay.
they had like a bunch of different distilleries, and then they had stuff that they just brought in. Dude, they were
Hi,
giving
Grandma.
out. Is
Hi,
Grandma on
Grandma.
there? Hi, Grandma. They were giving out 1 ounce pours of Whistle Pig 6 year rye,
Mm.
Yeah, that's
and
3 times
that
fast.
stuff is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
It is so good. So, and
So good.
in a restaurant or a if you went to like a bourbon bar or something like that, a pour of that, Patrick, just a one ounce pour of that would probably run you somewhere between $15 and $20.
There,
Mm-hmm.
gum.
Right.
Yep.
And they were just you could just walk up with your glass and get a pour of it. So we were enjoying pours of that and had a couple cigars and tried a bunch of different stuff. I ended up, boyo, I found a distillery that I hadn't heard of called Ironclad.
Okay.
It's down your way in the Norfolk, Virginia Beach area,
Mm-hmm.
and yes, it was very good. I ended up buying they they had a bunch of different ones that they had, and I ended up buying a bottle of that. And then the other one. All right, hold on. I'm gonna run away. 2 seconds.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12,
Oh, my ears are
13,
turned.
14,
Oh,
15.
oh, you're just having a good time. All right, ready? 3, 2, 1. This
It
is
says good.
Gooch. This is Gooch Hooch.
It's Gooch Hooch.
This is this is this is Gooch Hooch. It is
I
blackberry Gooch Hooch, and this is why I
don't
wanted to
know if I
bring the
could write
bottle,
that.
because I knew you'd get a laugh out of it, Patrick. Um, so this is a corn distilled corn straight corn mash, mash bill,
Yummy.
moonshine, and they add do flavors, and this one is blackberry. It tastes absolutely amazing. Um,
With a name like Gooch, it better be Hooch.
well, yeah, well, it's funny because it's actually from Patrick. It's actually from Goochland, Virginia,
Oh, well, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
and that is an actual name of a town. The the town. So we've been to Goochland before.
Mm. I'll
Um,
bet you have.
Yeah.
you are terrible. Family Channel, boyo.
I,
Family Channel.
it's a place, man.
It is a place.
God.
Excuse me. Mm.
So, but no, so Goochland is also home to a brewery, and
Oh,
you're gonna laugh at me so hard, Patrick. It's called Lickinghole.
I've been there.
Yeah, hey, yeah. Alex has been to Lickinghole. It's Lickinghole Creek Brewing Company,
oh, Lord help
or
us.
Lickinghole Brewing Company, and
Mm.
it's well. Here's the thing. This is one of those. This is the fascinating part, and it sounds terrible, but a
I'm not
licking
writing this
hole,
down. It's not happening.
but a licking hole is a water source. It's an old name for a water source that animals would go to drink.
A drink. That makes sense.
It's a licking hole,
Uh-huh.
and so naturally they had to name it, licking hole in Goochland.
they just naturally.
And again, like you can go and you can get yourself some good old gooch
Gooch.
hooch
Gooch
from
Hooch.
this distillery, which is brain fart. It's Hilltop is the name of the actual distillery.
Well, that's not on brand with all the other ones.
But no, I had to get a bottle. So the last event that Brandy and I did, and so it's several months ago, Um, we got a we saw them there, and they were giving out tastes of a bunch of the stuff that they distill, and we tried that one, and they have a blueberry one as well, a blueberry moonshine, and they all tasted great. And we really love the blackberry. Well, by the time that we were able to get back over and buy a bottle, they were sold out because they just like they burned like people just snatch it up. They burn through it so fast. And so this time around when we were there and we saw them, we went up and sure enough they're giving out tasters of all their stuff. Saw the bottle of blackberry and I'm like, I'm buying one right now because I know if I do, and they even said it like, yeah, we didn't even bring as much as we normally would. Like we know we're gonna sell out in the next like 45 minutes because people are just gonna buy it before we'll sell all of it. And so yeah, so I managed to get my hands on a bottle of blackberry moonshine, and it is really stinking good.
That gooch hooch.
Say it right, blackberry gooch hooch.
It's that gooch hooch. It is dangerous. You do not drink a lot of it because it will. Yeah,
It'll hooch you up.
it's moonshine. I mean, it's 40 proof. It's 80% alcohol by volume.
It'll get you drunk. 40 proof is not much, brother.
Okay.
Yeah.
40 proof?
No.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. Oh no, I mean I have stuff that's a lot higher. But 40 proof is still really high. It's high enough. Like that's most of your good liquors are somewhere in that ballpark, 40 to
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Y'all, come on.
Yeah.
But anyways, I got me a bottle of Gooch Hooch, blackberry Gooch Hooch to be specific. So, and Sean bought a bottle too because he loved it as well.
Hey, Greg.
Yes.
You know that the proof is like half, right?
Yeah.
So, like the bottle of 1792 behind me is 125 proof, and it's 62.5%.
Oh, I'm backwards.
Yep. So 40 proof. I love you, brother, but not much.
Yeah, I'm having brain fart.
It's okay. So moonshine, whenever they make it, whenever they infuse it with things,
Right.
it seriously degrades the ABV.
They cut it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like if you get there's different types of different sections of it as it comes out of the still. So you have the head, which if you drink that, that's what ends up making you go blind.
Yeah.
you you have the heart, right, which is like the very middle of it. That is the purest that it's gonna get, and then you have the body. The body is what most of moonshine is made of. They'll end up trying to basically isolate the heart as it comes out, and then everything that's left over is the mash. So that's what they use to make their grains. That's what they fermented. That's all of the after effects, so to speak. So they'll use that, and then they'll distill that a couple of different times to try and get it smoother, so that you can drink things that are like 150 proof or higher than that, because that's what it'll come out to based on the calculations, and it feels like drinking water. So what they'll do with the body, because the body is like the least amount of alcohol by volume, that's what they'll use to cut, and they'll cut whatever flavorings they'd like into it. So that'll take the 100 125 proof down into something a lot more manageable that you can just sit there and drink a crap ton of. Yeah.
The more you know.
The more you know.
So, but it's really good. It's very easy drinking, obviously, for reasons.
Yeah.
For reasons.
For reasons.
For reasons.
For reasons.
Yeah.
Cool.
Did that, and then today was pretty chill. Ran some errands, got more creamer, and then Brandy and I, yeah, we were out of creamer. Really sad. And
Mhm.
then I made chorizo egg bagels, breakfast sandwiches, and
All
then
right.
we spent most of the afternoon at the pool because Brandy and I just like I've been reading. I've been trying so hard, gentlemen. I am tearing up the eye of the world every chance I get,
Hmm.
and I am 2/3 of the way through the book. I am enjoying it immensely.
Good.
It's finally clicking, and it's just so long. I feel like I'm like reading and reading and reading, and it's like, wow, I didn't get much. Like I didn't get far at all.
Mhm. Yeah, that's how it goes.
So
It
that was my week. So
it picks up more.
It picks up more.
Yeah. So
Glad to hear it.
he Robert Jordan spends a lot of time during that first book, world building, so to
The
speak.
setup. Yeah.
Yeah. The ones later are more action packed. You'll enjoy them.
yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
So my week, this was our last week with Philip here at the house. And so mm, most of the week was just getting stuff done in the office. I got to teach again homiletics,
Yeah.
and uh, gentlemen, I'm loving what we're doing here. Just affirming left and right that we are where we are supposed to be,
Mm.
and just very grateful for that affirmation. Give God the glory. Um, and then Friday morning, I had a meeting, and then Philip and I packed up the car, and we drove. So we drove up through Chattanooga, up 75, and continued on 75 through Knoxville, and then 75 continued up through Richmond and Lexington. We got on 64, cut across, picked up Philip's stuff from his girlfriend's mother's home, and then we spent the night just outside of Simpsonville, Kentucky. And yesterday morning, we we got him into his new apartment. Met
Fun.
his met his
Nice.
roommate. Met his roommate Jeremiah. They're on campus, so they're staying at one of the dorms on campus. But he has his own room that has uh, key card access, that has his own bathroom, his own closet. I mean, it. He shares the middle section, which has like a full kitchen, stove, full fridge, dishwasher, sink, all that jazz. A few like a love seat and another seat of the same material next to a window. But honestly, he's going to spend most, if not all, of his time in his own room, and it's perfect for him. He's got his computer within reaching distance from his bed. He's got all the space he needs, and just had a really good time helping him get set up, get comfortable. And then I drove the 7 hours back home to be back this morning for we had worship here on campus, and it was very, very good. So I've been to the gym a couple times. I went running this week, Greg.
Oh, oh heck
Uh,
no.
I don't
ran
run.
2 miles. Yeah, I know, buddy. Hashtag I don't run.
I don't run.
Ran 2 miles in this Atlanta weather, and I didn't die. Still standing. Grateful for that.
Yeah.
And we had COVID. We had COVID run through our campus this week.
Oh no.
So
Oh goodness.
yeah, we had a total of too many cases, all
Enough.
confirmed, enough to really almost swear off crowds.
Mm.
But praise God, I came out unscathed.
Good.
Uh, Julia as well. Carrie had a cold for the first part of last week, but it wasn't COVID, thank God.
Yeah.
And she's good. She's much better now. But yeah, we've got. Oh, hopefully everybody's back out of quarantine now this week. Have
Mm-hmm.
full classes again, which will be great. But yeah, that was no bueno, no bueno. And Yeah. I do have some sad news to share with you.
Oh no.
Um, Commissioner Ray Cooper passed away on Monday,
Oh.
and Commissioner Phil Needham passed away on Tuesday.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So those not in the know, we lost some serious giants of the faith, the Salvation Army. To reach the rank of commissioner, ladies and gentlemen, that's the highest rank you can get besides general.
Yeah.
And commissioner has the responsibility of being in charge of all of the Salvation Army of a whole territory. So for the South, it's every Salvation Army from Texas to Florida to DC to Arkansas and everything in between. That's a commissioner and their responsibility. They also have the responsibility of commissioning new officers and giving them their rank, giving them their ordination and commissioning. And so, a very very serious position, um, very honorable position,
Mm.
very heavy, responsible position, and both of these two gentlemen had retired years ago, and so in the army, in the Salvation Army, we like to affectionately say that they've been promoted to glory,
Yep.
which is the highest honor of all, and that's to stand before our Lord and receive that well done, my good and faithful servant. And so
Mm.
we pray for their wives, pray for their families, both very active in their corps. Actually, I saw Commissioner Cooper last weekend. He was at a Bible conference, and so got to see him smile and enjoy his presence. Laugh a couple times about my stupid shoes and them squeaking on the floor. Just dumb stuff like that. But yeah, they were both promoted to glory this early this week. So
Mm.
grateful for their legacy, grateful for the work that they did,
Okay.
and yeah, just a moment of remembrance. So I appreciate that, fellas.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
So, but all that to say, it has been a good week. It's been somber at times. It's been rewarding, and it's also been very tiring. A lot of driving this week, but that's okay.
Yep.
All for a good point and good reason. So that's all I got.
Right on.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah. So, Alex, you happen to have a question for us this week?
I do happen to have a question for us this week.
Let's go. What you
So,
got, buddy?
well, I don't know. I've been spending a lot of time with my kids this week,
Good.
right? And I mean, it's been fantastic. But you guys know how kids under 4 are, right? You know, there's always something,
Yep.
and everything is big feelings, and just all over the place when it comes to that. There are some things that I've watched my daughter do this week that I have to ask her, why would you do that? Because it just doesn't make sense,
Yeah.
you know. I saw my son decide he was gonna go face first down the slide today. Mind you, like he's just over a year old, but he toddled up there and then he just straight down. He freaked himself out doing that, so we had a few moments of cuddles on the couch while mom was in the shower, just trying to calm him down because obviously nothing happened, everything was fine, nobody
Right.
got hurt. But thinking about that, and all the different things that we did as kids, like we know pretty much the stupid things that the other ones have done. But in your own opinion, what's the dumbest thing you guys have done as children?
Oh, sure, I'm ready for this.
All right,
Oh man.
Greg.
I'm trying to think. I mean, the one that comes to mind, like the first one pops to mind,
Yep.
was uh first time I ever went to the hospital for stitches
Oh,
Yep.
because we were actually there's two of them now, I can say.
Mm.
First time I went for stitches, we were in the living room. It's probably like a Saturday morning or a Sunday morning, I don't know. But all I remember is I was on the floor in the living room pretending I was a bull. And dad was walking from the kitchen into the living room,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought it'd be a brilliant idea to charge at him on all four, like, on my hands and knees. Completely missed him, and I went face first into the corner of the. So you guys remember our house in Loudonville? It was
Yep.
old, and it had the, big wood, like hard, solid wood, door. I mean, I remember like I was big enough I could wedge myself between. Do you remember that? I would climb up the,
Yep.
like in between the door frame.
Yep.
Um, but I charged right past him, completely missed him, and went right into that corner of that hard wood and split my eyebrow, my face open from like here all the way down, and then ended up having to go to the hospital and get I don't know how many stitches to
You
fix
got
it.
stitches or glued?
No, I got stitches.
Yeah.
I got stitches. The other time that
Yep.
comes to mind, I was Patrick. I can't remember how old you were. I mean, you're 6 years older than me, but we thought it'd be a great idea. I was holding on to your leg, and you were bouncing up and down. I was
Oh,
bouncing up and
and
down
knocked
on
your
your
teeth
leg.
out. Yeah.
And all I remember is coming forward, and knocking one of my teeth out.
Yep. On my knee.
And then having to go. You thought you were dead. I
Yeah.
had to go to explain to Dad. He was in the kitchen with Jack having a
Uh,
cup of coffee, and I'd walked in like holding a tooth in my hand
yeah.
because Patrick knocked out one of my teeth. So yeah, those are the two that come to mind. I know there's some dumber ones. We've There was a pyro stage when Alex and I were in Louisville, and how I didn't get arrested. I don't like we didn't burn
Mm,
anything down, thank God. But we
Yeah.
definitely were doing some things we shouldn't have been doing.
Yep.
So, but yeah,
yep.
no, those are the ones. Those are the ones that immediately come to mind.
All
Right
right.
on.
I got two.
Okay.
And the sad part is they're from like 14 on.
Oh.
So uh we were here at training
Oh,
and um I got invited to a friend's house for an overnight party, and they lived out on a farm with a huge pond,
Mm-hmm.
and they had made a spud gun that
I remember this story.
you opened up the back end of it. It was screwed with like it was made of PVC
Yep.
pipe, and it had an electric igniter on the top of it that was seized into it, and then the tube was, or the barrel was smaller than this. Anyways, you'd shove the potato in
Yeah.
there, you'd open up the back end, you'd spray in your accelerant. We were using hairspray, seal
Mm-hmm.
that back up, and then click the thing until it ignited the accelerant and shot the spud out. Well, I sprayed and sealed it up and click, 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 click. It wouldn't go off. So I thought, well, I better see if maybe the igniter went bad. So I unscrewed it and pointed it at my face and hit the igniter, and it ignited. And it blasted a cone of fire into my face, burned off my eyebrows, burned off my eyelashes, and burned off all the facial hair I had at the time, which was a bit of a mustache and a goatee. Just thump. And that's all I heard was thump. It singed all this hair that was up here. It's probably why I don't have hair growing there anymore. But yeah, Thump.
Thump.
And then the other one was we were living in Louisville. I had friends who were in high school with me, and Justin Johnson specifically, and AJ Kelly, and
Mm.
we were too poor or too cheap, one or the other, to buy real paintball guns. But we had all these paintballs, and we thought, it'd be really cool if we could just fight each other. So we had enough money to buy the wrist rocket slingshots. You know what I'm
Yes.
talking about?
Oh,
The
yeah.
ones that where the wrist guard comes down. And we decided we had masks. We decided we can do this. We can play in the backyard. Everybody's got 3 shots, and once you're out, you're out.
Mm-hmm.
I was hiding behind a tree. Justin got a good shot on my calf, and I was out, but I had one loaded. And he came out of his spot and he pulled his mask off, and I reared back, pulled back, and let go.
Mm.
And I shot Justin right here in the forehead.
Oh, no.
Gentlemen, it sounded like a gunshot when it hit him.
Mm.
He laid out on the ground. I thought I killed him.
Oh, man.
Thank God I didn't kill him. We are still good friends. And I thank God for that, because boy, that could have ended really bad. So
God,
Yeah.
that's funny.
yep.
That.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Alex?
glorious. Well, so I'm the youngest, right?
Yes.
And for anyone who is literally just tuning in on this one, I am the youngest. So that means that a lot of the time I kind of invited myself into situations. So usually, you'd see, the two of these guys off doing something, or, Greg doing something, and I'm just standing there watching. Like, this is awesome. What are we going to do next?
That sounds about right.
So, Greg alluded to it. There's one scenario where I almost lost an eye. And that's basically just because I was standing where I shouldn't be, trying to be involved.
Yep.
So we had a tiki torch in the backyard. And I don't think it ever got refilled, ever. I don't even really know why we had a tiki torch, because I don't think I ever saw the thing lit. But it was while we were in Louisville. And Greg had, in his infinite wisdom, decided that we were going to try and melt a pink Power Rangers action figure.
That's exactly
Why?
what
Because it was pink?
Yep.
It
No.
It was an
It was an action figure.
Oh
We're
my
just man,
goodness.
we burned an Iron Man.
Mm-hmm.
We melted the pink Power Ranger.
Mm-hmm.
We blew up a Pikachu.
Yep.
I choose you, Pikachu. Kablooey.
Boom.
With an M90.
Oh
Anyways.
my goodness.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
It
was interesting. So I'm standing there watching this, because obviously Greg, being the older one, is holding the stick. So we have this thing jerry rigged to the end of just this dowel rod, essentially.
Okay.
But he has somehow gotten a hold of some dog tag chain. So like the little metal beads, the little tiny
beaded,
ones, right?
right.
So he's got that wrapped around the end of the dowel rod, and then it's going down to the Power Ranger itself. But tried to tie that around the Power Ranger, it wouldn't hold her. So what we do is we get that all the way down, because obviously you have to be able to hold her out over the fire.
Right.
He wraps that around with a rubber band.
Now you see my problem.
Yeah.
Not flammable at all.
No.
No.
So he's got this thing held out, and he's a respectable distance away, in case something happens. But little old me, I'm just, what are we doing?
Nice and close.
This is awesome. At which point, the rubber band, which is under so much tension, because obviously, you need to wrap that thing as tight as possible, um, it catches on fire and dislodges itself from around said pink Power Ranger action figure and went straight into my eye. Now, mind you, I closed my eyes whenever it hit, so it hit just about down here.
Yikes.
And for what, Greg? Would you say we were like 4 or 5 hours until Mom and Dad got home?
Oh my goodness.
So,
Jeez.
so basically, I ran inside. I threw like a wet washcloth on my eye, and then I went to sleep. I slept on the couch until Mom and Dad showed up. I thought we were gonna die, straight up.
I don't think we told him what happened.
No, I don't think we did.
Uh-oh.
So, Mom and Dad, sorry.
Sorry.
But I mean, I don't have any sight problems with that eye. Everything's good.
That's good.
Yeah, how we didn't get more
Yeah.
injured and some of the dumb things that we did. I
True.
don't.
Well, the other part of being the youngest is trying to do everything to be included. So not only standing by and watching, but then trying to jump in and literally and figuratively jump in. So this was very, very young. Right around the time that I stopped sucking my thumb, and we were over at Dad's partner is Jack. We were over at Jack's house.
Yep.
And we were
Johnny and Amy.
Yeah, we were over there with Johnny and Amy, and they were in the kitchen doing something, and we were deciding to try and see how far around the room we could get without touching the floor.
Because the floor is lava.
Ladies and gentlemen, the floor is lava. So
Was that at their house?
that was at their house,
Yep.
Oh man.
where I decided to try and jump a length I should not have been able to jump, and I fell down the wall, kind of, and then I hooked my left butt cheek on a hook on the wall
Yep.
and hung there.
Yep.
I remember that.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Just Amy. The widowous one is hanging from the wall. The widowous one.
Yep.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Man, we were dumb.
Oh, it was great. It
I
was.
didn't realize that was at Jack's house. I thought that
Yep.
was at who was the one lady who we used to
Sonic.
go-
We used to call her Sonic. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought that was at her house. Like we were
Mm-mm.
over there for like when they were doing the babysitting duty thing.
Nope. This was at Jack's.
Wow.
Yeah. Because of Amy's response. That's the reason I remember. The widowous one.
It's hanging
Oh my
from the wall.
goodness. It's hanging from the wall. That's awesome. Alex, thanks, bud. Those
Yeah.
some good questions. That was a lot of fun.
I'm glad.
Thank you. Oh, I got one. Here we go.
What you got?
My friend got a new house and I paid for them to get underfloor heating. Yep, it was a housewarming gift.
Eh.
Meh.
What do sea monsters eat?
Whatever they want.
Fish and chips.
And chips. I just finished reading a book called How to Avoid Getting Ripped Off. Best $100 I ever spent.
What do you call a sad strawberry?
I don't know.
A blueberry.
No. Wife just said, I just got stung by a jellyfish. Quick, pee on it. Husband, peeing on jellyfish. That's for stinging my wife.
That's pretty good.
Oh, how did the hipster burn his tongue?
I don't know.
I don't know.
He drank his coffee before it was cool.
It's not funny, but it's the way you said it. My son just accused me of lying. I wouldn't mind, but I don't even have any children. That's just wrong.
Why shouldn't you tell secrets in a cornfield?
They all have ears.
Too many years.
Too many ears.
What do you call a sad cup of coffee?
A dispresso.
Depresso.
Depresso, that's it.
They called him the crossword puzzle boxer.
Oh, yeah?
He entered the ring vertical and left horizontal.
No.
He sucks.
I'm trying to convince my dad to get a new hearing aid, but he just won't listen.
What goes up and down but doesn't move?
Temperature?
Stairs.
Stairs.
What do you get when you cross a fish and an elephant? Swimming trunks.
I watched a documentary about beavers last night.
Yeah?
It was the best damn movie I've ever seen.
It's a Family Channel.
It's a movie about dams.
I know. Picked up a hitchhiker last night. He asked, "How do you know I'm not a serial killer?" I replied, "The chances of 2 serial killers in 1 car is astronomical."
He died, didn't he?
Wah, wah.
What did the yoga instructor say to her landlord when he tried to evict her?
I don't know.
Namaste.
Namaste. What's the difference between an Indian and an African elephant?
I don't know.
One of them's an elephant. Last one. Pick a good one.
What did the cake say to the fork?
I must eat
You want a piece of me?
you. It's a delivery, folks. It's a delivery.
It's a delivery.
It's a delivery.
It's not DiGiorno.
Oh, and if a man speaks in the forest and his wife is not there to hear him, is he still wrong? Oh.
No, yes.
Yeah.
He always.
No, yes.
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 Fish ran into a concrete wall.
You could have used it twice. Go ahead.
It said damn.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. Chat room, you've been a blast. You haven't said a word, but you know what? We know you're there because we can see your numbers.
Yep.
But this has been episode 125 of our weekly podcast, Brothers in Arms Podcast. You can find us on Twitch at twitch.tv/Brothers in Arms Podcast. YouTube, Brothers in Arms Podcast, all one word. You can find us on Instagram, Your Brothers in Arms Podcast. And you can also find us on Twitter at Your BIA Podcast. Yes, Greg, so quiet. So very quiet. So chirp, chirp, quiet, quiet.
Chirp, chirp.
But, gentlemen, it's been a blast. We've gone over our hour limit, but that's okay because it's always worth it with you guys. Thank you very much. A little delayed, but it's good to go. I can dig it. So, oh, hold on.
Oh,
Can't keep up. It's all good. We still love you.
She's been here the whole time.
I know, absolutely. And we appreciate it. Thank you so much. And Smart Home has hollered out. Thank you.
She has.
She has, absolutely. So, gentlemen, any parting remarks before we hit that some magic button?
Oh, as always, drink water, change socks, take Motrin.
Sounds like a plan, Stan. Alex?
Support your local game store.
There it is. There it is. Yep. And wash your hands, say your prayers. Jesus and germs are everywhere. There you go.
Ooh, we haven't said that one in a while.
I haven't
Yeah.
heard that one in a minute.
It's been a hot minute, but it's fitting for this week.
Yep.
So.
Amen.
All right, folks. Guys, I love you.
Love you too, man.
So good to spend time with you. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. Yeah. Sorry you got to go back to work on Tuesday, Alex.
Yeah, it's all right. I still got the day tomorrow.
That's right, man. As you get to go see the commissioner. Yes. Yes. Make him
Yeah.
eat it.
Liz and I are gonna turn it into a day date. It's gonna be good.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
You got,
Always fun.
you got a babysitter?
Yeah, we got somebody that's gonna watch the kiddos for a little bit.
Awesome.
Excellent.
Have fun.
Enjoy.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. All right, folks. We're out of here. Love you guys.
Love you.
Too.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Hey,
Goodbye, everybody.
that's my face. Bye.
Oh, Alex moved. He had to finish his latte.
I had to.
You can't hate on the Bush Lattes.
Latte. That's the look. Yeah. Yeah.
Got 'em.
Seriously, somebody's got to screen grab that. Perfect.
That's a keeper. That will, yes.
Love it. Mm. Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't got no gas.
Ain't got no gas in it.
Ain't real.
Don't thank you, Lottie.
Ain't real.
Oh, man.
Oh.
Oh. What?
No, we're good.
That's
Okay.
a good story too.
Bye, everybody.